everything feels broken. Your dreams, your identity, your perception of things, everything either in one moment or stacked on top of each other throughout time has led you to this very second, feeling completely shattered. And I will say, this is a devastating place to be. And I know it from experience. This is something I've dealt with for a long time, for a number of years. Identity loss, crisis, loss of motivation. I know it all too well. And in hindsight now that I navigated out of it and now help other people navigate through that process as well, I've come to realize something. What I've come to realize about that very moment and the very moment you're experiencing right now is you are really and truly transitioning into a state where, if you take advantage of it, a more authentic existence, where you can break free from old patterns, the patterns that have controlled you for most of your life. And you can transition and shed all that off to then exist with your ego, soul, and heart integrated into one as much as possible. And now you see the world not as separated with good and bad, rich and poor, funny, not funny, strong and weak. You see all of it blended together, all of it moving harmoniously. One needs the other, and that one should take dominance over the other. And you live in the center of that. But before we can transition into this place of wholeness, of integration, we must first accept the moment we're in. Oftentimes we get told by individuals, maybe online or through friends, that being in the state is so terrible that we should just pick ourselves back up, go with the same ideas, the same philosophies that have pretty much put us in that same place to begin with. But know that the reason why you got to this place is because you were carrying a vision. You were carrying a story that your ego was navigating with, but your soul did not want to come along anymore. You see, when you live fragmented, split, where you only inhabit the realm of the ego, which is only a part of you, and you leave the soul behind, because the soul, that, everything that sits below the conscious awareness, that is where our pains lie, our traumas, our memories, our stories, the emotional knots and complexes, ancient archetypal energy that sits within. And if we cannot contend with them, we ignore them. We cast them away. And then because we cast it away, it shapes and dements our view and perception. We start projecting our pains onto other people. We start projecting our pains into our future, where if I make money, if I have status, if I have all these things, I can wash away all this pain. I can finally get to this utopia that I envision. We are often intentionally running away from particular pain, or we are completely unaware of it because we have suppressed it for far too long. And when you suppress it far too long, and it turns to repression, the energies and the stories and the emotions that sit deep within you don't go anywhere. In fact, they get hijacked. They get hijacked by old energy that breaches through into your conscious awareness. But it isn't so much conscious to you, it's more so a possession, as I like to call it. And it completely dictates where you have to go, how you should react, where you should avoid going, and how you should view the world. And unless you bring it forward and contend with it and observe it right in front of you, nothing will change. I know this from personal experience. When I wanted to be a black belt world champion, when I was competing in jiu-jitsu, I had this ambition that I wanted to be this champion. Because did I really want to be a champion? Yeah, part of me did. But what I really wanted was I was running away from pain. I felt like if I didn't chase this title, if I didn't chase the status of being this competitor, this combat athlete, and if I stop, then this shadow that chased behind me of anonymity, this shadow that said, if you don't do this, people are going to forget who you are. You're never going to be admired. And everything you've heard growing up was true. That you were meant to do nothing. And it was a story that controlled me. And I have pushed that story away for so long that it hijacked my conscious awareness. The force of it became too powerful. I used anger and I used bitterness as a source of power. But these energies, that if you do not understand them, if you do not contend with them and really observe them and just let them run amok, yes, it can motivate you, but it can also burn your house down. It burned down my psyche. Took over, I ran with it, and then one day I woke up and I didn't want to do it anymore. And it shattered me because I embodied it so much. And then I transitioned into the next thing where I opened a business. And my thought was, okay, well, this time I'm going to do it differently. But because I didn't contend with it the right way, I didn't contend with those old demons, the traumas, the pains, the stories, the narrative that I've been looping in my mind subconsciously for so long, again, it turned to repression. That I was doing the same thing. I then was in this state of accumulation, accumulate students as much as I can. And if anyone leave me, they were leaving me. They were abandoning me. And therefore, they were fulfilling that story that was in my mind. And then again, one day, the soul said, I cannot go with this anymore. And it cracked again. But every breaking point transcended me to a different level of integration, to where I was able to then observe my life and map it out and structure a bit of a formula, a method. Because again, these things cannot be hard pressed. We're going to do X, Y, and Z, and then you can move towards integration. Everybody's story is different. But there are tools and guides and strategies and concepts, philosophies that we can use that can make us move along that path. And so once I moved along that path, everything started to make more and more sense. As I contended more with my inner demons and I contended more with my unconscious, brought it forward into the conscious realm, I moved into the integration realm, or as Carl Jung would call it, individuation. As the Eastern side of the world will call it, enlightenment. Where you're no longer in oppositional force with yourself. Good versus bad, strong versus weak. Instead, you navigate to the center of those two worlds. Imagine a Venn diagram where you have the two circles and the one down the center, existing beautifully within that razor's edge. That is the path to integration. Calmness, stillness. Neither afraid nor extremely courageous. Neither soft nor weak. You stay in the center. Of course, you shift out every once in a while. It's natural, it's going to happen. But once you start to unpack yourself, that muscle to move yourself in the center becomes easier and easier and easier. You start to abandon old stories, and part of trauma work is to slowly bring these stories forward into the conscious awareness. Either let go of the stories that don't serve you, make peace with them, forgive yourself, integrate them, understand that you are not bad and you are not all good, but you are both those two things. And then once you can really grasp that, you move into the third stage where you reimagine your life moving forward. And so this state of identity loss, eventually if you get to a different state of self-awareness, of unconscious conscious awareness, then you emerge into the state of spiritual awakening when things feel a little like you don't see the meaning in things anymore. Things feel sort of pointless. But that is just because you're in a state of shift. You're trying to find home, which is completely natural. And then eventually, when you can stay in that, don't run away from that. Don't pick a new narrative. Stay within that state of, I call, nobody. No titles, no purpose, no expectations of anything. Simply exist. Don't hide, don't run, don't chase. Stay in that beautiful center within the chaos, the eye of the storm. And then out of that, life will give its purpose to you. God will give its purpose to you. The universe will give its purpose to you. Because I'll leave with this. God, the power of God, I know we see it as something outside of us, and it very well could be. But it's undeniable that there is God within you. It is just buried. Buried underneath stories, buried underneath pain, buried underneath the inner eye that doesn't look inward, but rather looks outward. You have your two eyes, but then you have your inner eye. And if you do not observe the dark shadow, the pit within you, contend with it with courage, then it's buried. The light is there, though. The light is there. And when you unravel that light, you will have powers within you that you never thought possible, motivation you never thought possible, calmness that you never thought possible. Your heart will be warm. You will feel like you are moving towards a goal, but it is not consuming you. It is not draining you. It completely will change your life. If this is something that spoke to you and you want to go deeper into integration work and navigate through identity loss, be a part of a community that does that, click the link below. It'll send you over to my website. Sign up to my monthly newsletter. And I'm also going to send you my 3-step identity rebuilding guide. It's a toolkit to help you navigate the process of identity loss. It's something that I wish I had during my time, and I also wish I had the community that we have today. And I also want to end off by saying thank you very much for those that are still watching this video and those that have been following the channel. I am beyond grateful for your support and for you to be a part of this community. It's something truly special, and the divine purpose that I have in my life currently is to help as many people move towards this integration lifestyle as much as I possibly can with all the powers that I have, with all the knowledge that I have, and that I continue to acquire, to give you as much as possible so that you can feel the beauty of life that is when you integrate. So thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next video.